Aleola, mi toki, mi anpuki. When I first saw someone talking about toki pona prepositions, I thought they were talking about grammatical particles. You know, li, a, ein, etc. Because grammatical particles in toki pona are always placed before their arguments, even la, which goes before the main phrase of a sentence to separate it from the context phrase. But no, they were talking about something much, much worse. An addition to the language which I irrationally hate, but for a good reason. What are prepositions? Essentially, a preposition in toki pona is a way of using a content word as a grammatical particle. Take, for example, tawa. The word tawa means towards or to go. It's a content word, meaning that it describes a thing or action and doesn't refer to grammar. However, some people use what I like to call the dative tawa, in which placing tawa before another content word makes it not be a content word, but instead mark the dative case. Look at the common saying, nili pona tawa mi. Tawa here doesn't mean towards or to go, but it marks that mi is in the dative case. Taso nili ike tawa mi, or better, mila nili ike. This is far from the only word used like this. Pu also lists lon, tan, and kepekin as prepositions, which I will talk about why these make no sense. Why prepositions are dumb. Prepositions are dumb. Why? Because they are necessary and only make the language harder to parse. Toki pona is a minimalist language. As I've said, there are only two word groups, content words and grammatical particles. If the language is so minimalistic, then why does it maintain this distinction? Why not use li as a content word? Because the language is meant to be simple. In order to be simple, maintaining this distinction is crucial. As a reader or listener, you know that when you see or hear a particle, the speaker is making a grammatical distinction, and otherwise they are giving content information. When you mix these two fields, you create ambiguity that ruins the simplistic beauty of the language. In common speech, when someone says tawa or lon, listeners now have to reanalyze the entire sentence to determine whether this is a dative tawa, a locative lon, or just a content word. To me, at least, this makes reading text, and especially listening to speakers, that use this incredibly hard to parse, which is horrible for the language that's meant to be simple. How to not use them. But how do I speak without my prepositions? How do I say I like something? Well, exli pona tawa mi can easily be substituted with mila exli pona, and that hints towards the solution around using these ambiguous prepositions, the most powerful word in the language, la. I feel people avoid la, which is possibly why this confusing preposition system even came about, or Anglocentrism. Many dative constructions can be created with just replacing a dative tawa with la. Mi pana e moku tawa sina? Ala. Sina la mi pana e moku. But what if I need to specify other information with la? You can use the other most powerful word in the language, another sentence. Tenpo pini la mi pana e moku tawa sina? Ala. Tempo pini la ni. Sina la mi pana e moku. A similar system can be employed with lon. Locative lon is already something that la excels at. Context phrases were practically built for specifying locations. You can even push something like mi lape lon tempo pimea into two sentences as well. Nili lone tempo pimea, mi lape. Kepekin and tan. You brought up kepekin and tan. What about them? See, mila, kepekin, and tan are grammatical particles, not content words, so they really don't have this issue. Kepekin marks the instrumental case, and tan marks the causative case. Pretty simple. And no, kepekin does not mean to use, and tan does not mean source. You're thinking of ilo and mama, which are words that exist as content words and do not need overridden. For those of you who don't know, ilo means tool, which can be used as a verb to mean use. Mi ilo e pelisa, I use or make a tool of the stick. Mama means parent or ancestor, which can be used also to mean source. Mi mama ni, I am the cause of this, or I am the source of this. Introduction. So this is my possibly impossible to follow argument against prepositions and for the strict divide between content words and grammatical particles in toki pona. However, these are just my deranged ramblings. Please share your deranged ramblings in the comments section that's just below the like and subscribe buttons. Maybe I can learn a thing or two from you, and hopefully you learn a thing or two from me. Sino opona.